I'm down here at Portchester shore again. I was here a few weeks ago just to do a little bit of mudlarking, and I noticed something that someone actually later mentioned in the comments, which was what appears to be the start of a gravel path that leads out towards Pewit Island, and Pewit Island is out there. Today I'm going to try to visit Pewit Island on foot. After I started planning this Islands on Foot series, I mentioned it to a friend who actually told me there's a book already on this subject by an author called Peter Caton called No Boat Required, where he's visited all 43 of the UK's tidal islands. That is, islands that are only accessible at low tide via causeway and are unbridged. However, he didn't mention Pewit Island. There might be a couple of different reasons for that. One is that he might have just omitted it, or he might not have known about it. The other is that maybe you can't get to it. As I say, there is a gravel path, but it's ancient, it's unmaintained, and also the island, which you can just see out there as a kind of grassy rise, is a nature reserve. So there's a bit of an incentive for the Wildlife Trust to kind of discourage people from going there, and with good reason. It's an important nature reserve for ground nesting seabirds, so it's possible that the path will have been destroyed or rendered unusable on purpose. Anyway, we will go and have a look. So there's the Spinnaker Tower over there, and if we looked really hard, we might just be able to see. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually it there. I don't know if that's Burrow Island we can see there. That small patch of dark over there, don't know. Anyway, let's crack on. When I was here mudlarking, I was kind of skirting the edge here, skirting the edge of the gravel, which is walkable, and the estuary mud, which is a bit sinky and smelly. And so I was walking along here, and that's how I noticed there was this little spit of gravel that went out further than the rest. Let's see if I can find it again today. And my plan today is, or my expectations are, I've come here at low tide. If I find that my feet are sinking into the mud, I will probably stop and turn back. I'm not going to try to wade through estuary mud to get to that island. So if it comes up to over my laces, we turn around and come back. Maybe it won't. I think I see the start of the path there. So as with Burrow Island, it's important to note that there are reasons why you can't go on this island, different ones. Burrow Island is because it's owned by the MOD. Pewit Island is because it's a nature reserve. And I will respect that today, so I'm not going to step onto the dry part of the island. The foreshore, again, is Crown Estate, and so is rightfully accessible to me. And so if I'm going to go out there, I'm only going to go on the foreshore. Right, well here it is, I think. So, already quite sinky where I'm standing at the moment, but that's it. So, the plan is, we're going to walk out on this bit here. And as I say, if I start to sink, well look, you can see footprints. That's interesting. So I'm obviously not the only person to be doing this. Let's see how far we get without sinking. Well, it does look so far, only that much sinking. We'll see. Yeah, no. I think you'd need at least welly boots to get out there. So you can just see the edge of the island there. It's been built up, and here's the gravel path, and we can talk about that. It's named by the locals, or some locals, the Roman path, and there is a history of Roman settlement here. Portchester Castle's just down the way over there, and this is believed to be a man-made path. So this is artificial, and presumably somebody just dumped baskets of gravel on there and carried on doing that until there was a path. But yeah, you can't get out there without wellies. So really walkable, it doesn't really qualify, I would say, as a walkable island, and that's probably why it's omitted from Peter Caton's book, rightfully so. But perhaps on another day we'll come back with boots and visit it, although there's not very much to see out there, I've got to say. From all of my researches, there's some remains of medieval fish traps, which will be seen as kind of pieces of wood sticking out of the ground, which may indeed be the reason why this path is here. This might not be a Roman path, this might be a medieval path, and if there were fish traps out there that people needed to visit at low tide, that might well be why they built this path. Bit of a disappointment, I'm sure. But yeah, the Roman path to Pewit Island is not quite walkable. So this is not an island on foot in the strictest sense. It is interesting though that there are footprints out there, so people obviously do this. But I'm not going to attempt it with just my duck boots. So from here you can see perhaps a little bit more clearly the so-called Roman path. Actually, it's interesting, it's almost like a very broad path from here, so maybe the little bit I was on is not the best bit. But yeah, that's the bit I followed there. In fact, well, I'll trace it on the screen. But from up here you can see that that was actually quite a broad track by the look of it. Possibly would have been big enough to get a cart over there, which makes sense if they were going over there to get fish out of fish traps. Anyway, not possible to visit that today because of footwear. But another time we'll give it a go with some welly boots on, where I can tolerate maybe 20 to 30 centimetres of mud for a short period, and we'll see if we can get out there. Pewit Island, not an island to visit on foot, at least not with normal footwear. While we're here though, I might as well walk down as far as Portchester Castle. It's a castle that's been there since at least Roman times, so there's quite a lot of history in this area, so maybe we'll find something interesting in the mud. Of course, if we find anything interesting and of historical significance or treasure, there are rules for dealing with that, so be sure that I will observe them. I'm not hanging my hopes that that's going to happen. Most likely we will find nothing. Second most likely we might find a clay pipe or something like that. As we get closer to the castle, I'm seeing more and more bits and pieces of worn glass, broken pottery, bricks, various other things that people may have dumped here in years gone by. I'm down here on a Sunday morning quite early. A couple of reasons for that. One is that obviously that's when the tide is out. That kind of drove my plans, which were originally to try to visit Pewit Island. You can get maybe a better view of Pewit Island from here. You can see there's a little gravelly rise out there. But the other reason is that we're forecast a heat wave today, well, over the next few days actually, and you know, mad dogs and Englishmen and all that lot. So I'm going to limit my journey to the early morning, retreat back indoors once the sun gets up to full ferocity. Interesting blocks of dressed stone strewn about the shore here. Tempting to imagine that those might be of historical significance, but most likely they're just the previous iteration of this wall that people have built to try and stop coastal erosion taking away their land. There's an interesting bit of pottery there. because you can see the wheel marks in that. That actually looks quite old. It's obviously been in the water a long time because of the patina, and yeah, it looks like that could be quite an old bit of pot. So Portchester Castle emerges over there. I think having come this far, I'll go along the shore here till I'm level with the castle and then head for home. Well, it seems a bit silly to bring you all the way down here and not take a look inside at least the public access part of the castle, the bit that you can get into for free. So let's go and have a look inside. A little bit more of a step up than I thought. I'm getting too old for this. Oh, looks like we can't go in today. At least not from here. Interesting. Well, I'll walk all the way around and then we can have a look and see what else there is to see. Oh, I see, it opens at 10 AM, so just not open yet. I'm reliably informed that people who rummage around in the mud here have found all sorts of interesting low value historical artefacts, clay pipes especially. I just somehow don't fancy a little wander down into that mud. It just doesn't appeal. Okay, well, I think that concludes my visit to Portchester for today, and I'm actually going to head back home a different way. Oh, I think that's, here's an interesting thing, I think that's water mint right there. Anyway, so I'm going to head back to my starting point via an inland route, hopefully one with a bit of shade. So there we go, back down to the shore now. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day now. I'm already out longer than I intended to be, and okay, didn't really find much. Didn't manage to get to Pewit Island, which by the way is over there, and perhaps another time. So that was my abortive attempt to get to Pewit Island in Portchester. I hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.